What up, folks? Welcome to our podcast. We've done a lot of shorts and shorter reactions, but today we're going to be here talking about the bigger things in a bigger conversation scale. Here at the Home Court Hecklers, we love to basically just heckle at players, teams, current events across the four major sports. And yeah, don't be afraid to hear some biased takes as we talk about sports in a rather funny, comedic, and biased way. So with that being said, I'm Will,
I'm Josh.
I'm Kyle.
and this is the Home Court Hecklers. Go and grab yourself a souvenir. Enjoy the show.
So, the NBA Finals is almost upon us, and it will be the Heat versus the Nuggets in a
Yeah.
battle of the underdogs. So,
Battle of the people that pissed off Joel Embiid. Good grief.
literally, best center in the league versus Jimmy Butler
Yes,
Me
sir.
buckets.
and Caleb Martin.
Caleb Moore.
And Caleb Moore.
Somehow carrying that team on his back.
Incredible.
Underrated as heck.
So, quickly, let's just talk about the Nuggets.
Most well-rounded team in the league.
Yeah, I agree. You know, they have Jokic, they have Jamal Murray, they also have Michael Porter Jr., who's been really good. And yeah, I think
Michael Never Swing the Rock Jr.
they
Love that name.
Credit to those two. I remember reading something about Jamal Murray when he got injured. He was worried that he was going to get dealt
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a major piece.
And then what did the coach say? He said,
No, he's ours.
Yeah.
And he has developed perfectly. He's been much more consistent night in and night out. Still providing with a very good deep shot threat option. His ability to create his own shot.
Yup.
And becoming that really strong number two option, unless you argue that MPJ is the number two option.
Nah, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray
Yeah.
averaged 33 points
Yeah.
a game. He
Well,
is-
credit to
he's
MPJ.
amazing.
Stick with Murray.
Well, Josh, if you are right in saying that he can play defense, which I know you are,
Yeah.
he's got to be able to defend Jokic. He's got to stop Jokic somehow. Stop the distribution. Stop the playmaking. Stop his ability to shoot. Because that's the only way the Heat have a chance of winning this series.
They're gonna have to turn. They're gonna have to turn Nikola Jokic into a primary scorer. That means they're gonna have to intercept all the passing lanes, and they're gonna have to make sure that Jokic has to be a scorer first rather than a passer. Because if you let Jokic pass, he's gonna get his assists, he's gonna get his rebound, he's gonna get in rhythm, and he's just gonna ball out like he always does.
And it sucks because you really can't double team anyone on that Nuggets team.
No.
You really can't. Like, who are you going to double team? KCP and leave MPJ open? He's too tall to
You
even
really do that.
consider stopping
Yeah.
without someone on him. Of course, Jamal's a lights out shooter, so you can't stray away from him.
32
Same with
points a
KCP.
Yeah, he's become a better shooter because of lethal shooter. You know what I'm saying?
One of the best shooters in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's a better shooter than John Morant. Yep.
Speaking of shooting, the Heat have
Yeah.
turned it up this entire playoffs.
Mhm.
They've become one of the better shooting teams, just one of the better teams in this entire playoff run, beating playoff Brunson, beating Giannis, beating, well, Jaylen Brown, but he kind of helped them with that. 8 turnovers is not going to help you win a game, and 14-point Tatum, closeout Tatum, as they call him.
Oh, he reverted to what he should have reverted to in Game 7 during that series against my team.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sucks to be a Sixers fan.
It really does.
I am a little concerned though because you know how you said great shooting for the Heat.
Yeah.
Well, as we can go by the stats, Butler had 12-28 in field goals, and he shot 3 out of 7 from 3. I'm a little concerned about that. That's just one thing I'm concerned
He's not the
about.
best three-point
But
shooter, so 3 for 7 is pretty good for him. That's what 40%
yeah,
percent.
that's
Yeah,
around there.
That's
yeah.
pretty average.
And look, from the field, it's a bit of a rougher night. He's going to have those once in a while. He'll become
Yeah.
playoff Jimmy come
Yeah.
the finals. I'm
Yeah.
confident.
I'm just worried about that. Hopefully they can pull it off.
Yeah, the one thing I'm really worried about is how does Bam Adebayo wake up every single day, practice every day, and still managed to get no buckets. Like, tell me how Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, and all these other players can get at least a layup. And Bam Adebayo, all 6'10" of him, can't get a layup on you or you. Like,
I be blocking the crowd.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
That's a little embarrassing right there.
He probably just paid the others to score his buckets for him.
Oh my god.
Just sit on the court.
Jeez. At least he could play defense.
You had one job. Well, that's a lie. You had multiple jobs. You just skipped on one.
Hassan Whiteside 2.0.
And keep on talking about the Heat. They really got lucky that they won this past game because the Celtics, they had that momentum. They were close to pulling off history, and Miami almost made history by choking very badly. But when a team is down 3-0, what? That's 0-150. Like
180.
yeah,
It's a big
180.
number.
Yeah, just they really got lucky. They won the Heat. Man, they would have pulled off one of the most biggest chokes, and it arguably could have been worse than the Falcons' Super Bowl choke.
It definitely would have been worse than my team's choke.
Yeah.
I hate my life. I hate being a Sixers fan.
I mean, we're chilling in OKC. We're always open to new fans all the time.
You open to losing in the play-in?
It's better than the second round every year. Yeah, at least we don't get shot in the heart. Apart from back in the day. But regardless of anything, the Heat and Nuggets have made the finals. And now this is going to be I think it's going to be a pretty good finals. This is not one of those finals where it's just like, God damn it, it's the Warriors again. Oh my God, here's LeBron again.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's the Cavs for the 5th fucking year.
here's Kawhi Leonard going for probably another one. It's just Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jokic.
I'm fine with it. I like it.
So,
At least one of my favorite players is getting a ring, and honestly, they deserve it.
that is true. That really is true. But the real question is, who do you guys have winning?
Kyle, let's hear from you first.
All right. So, like we all said, I think this is going to be, a great matchup. I believe all the players, Jokic, Murray, Butler, they're all going to have really good games. And there might be a couple games where it's, the team wins by more than 15 points, possibly. But overall, I think the games are going to be pretty close. Both teams are going to do really good. And you know what? I got the Heat in 7. Jimmy's legacy will be cemented. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. The finals ring will just help him even more. And he'll probably have a finals MVP too. We could probably assume that.
Yeah.
But also Haslam, he's in his 20th year. He'll be able to retire a champ. Kevin Love, maybe he will probably retire a champ. Kyle Lowry, yeah, he's been in the league for almost 20 years. So
Even
yeah,
though they already have rings.
You could retire another champ.
besides Butler.
More champs.
Well, Butler
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, there you go. And Tyler Hero will finally get his first, and yeah,
So you said Heat in 6?
7.
Heat in 7, okay. Well, the way I see the series, this looks a lot like the bubble year, where the Heat upset everyone, but come into a finals with the most well-rounded team in the NBA to play against, with a superstar and a couple of other superstars in the making that they have to play against. Obviously, there's some changes on that team. Instead of Jay Crowder, you have Kevin Love. Instead of Goran Dragic, you have Kyle Lowry. Obviously, there are upgrades here. This Heat team's been inconsistent. Not only did they nearly lay the biggest egg in playoff history, they also got to play the man who should have been the MVP this year. I am changing my opinion on that.
Ooh.
And just a roster with so much depth. Like, I can't tell you enough just how well-rounded that team looks. They'll win a couple games. Playoff Butler will overcome the Nuggets a couple of times, but I just don't see the Heat overtaking Denver, even though it's going to be closer than what we think. Nuggets in 6.
All right.
Well, you couldn't have said it any better. Because I also have the Nuggets winning in 6. And even though I know it's going to be Game 6 in Miami, but at the same time, it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, come on.
And plus, you never know. Home court doesn't really matter
It
that
seems
much.
to not matter to the Celtics.
Yeah.
The Celtics had a 5-6 at home this playoffs, which is like terrible. It's actually one of the worst in their like history, actually. But the Heat, you know, they've had a good run. They are an 8 seed. They made it to the play-in. They lost, and then they won the play-in. Then
Yeah.
they made it. They
What a
beat
underdog
Giannis, who did get injured. They beat the Knicks, but come on, Julius Randle kind of helped them. He was honestly the sixth man for the Heat. And then Boston, come on, what do you expect? It was like one of the biggest collapses.
Mhm.
Honestly, ever since their whole issue with Ime Udoka and they had this like new coach go in, they were one of the worst teams all season at closing out games. They should have never had a game 7. That was one of the luckiest plays because no one boxed out Derek White. Everyone knows that. And the Nuggets, they kind of just don't seem to mess around. They made quick work of the Timberwolves, which is an easy round. They beat the Suns. I mean, no Chris Paul, but let's be honest, Chris Paul's kind of garbo. So it's just D-Book and Durant, who both averaged like a combined 70 points the whole series.
Kevin Durant, the worst 30-point per game series I've ever seen in my life.
Honestly.
My gosh.
And then now, you know, here it is. They beat the Lakers, swept the Lakers.
Yeah.
And that's just, come on. This Heat, they won the first series in 5, the second series in 6, the third series in 7. But I'm sorry, it doesn't go 8 games.
Yeah.
Nuggets in 6. Jamal Murray continues to average 30. Not Giannis, my fault. Nikola Jokic, probably 27 and 15 and 10, like again. And Butler will play really well because it's just what he's going to do because there's no one on that Nuggets team that can defend him. But unless Bam shows up, Nuggets in 6.
Okay.
And to your point earlier on the Nuggets playing good teams, like these are good teams that they beat.
Yeah.
Like the Suns, like we love to joke about KD being awful and Chris Paul being awful, but they're a very talented team with a lot of high-end talent. The Timberwolves, they have Anthony Edwards, who's a rising superstar in the making, and Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, who aren't bad players. They're good players. They're not great players, but they're good players.
Yep.
But then the Lakers, who are actually a really good team. Like, no one wants to admit it, and I didn't want to admit it up until, like, a couple weeks ago when they actually went on this run. But they're a very good team with great players, great depth, and the Nuggets just squashed them like it was nothing.
It was quick work.
It was
Yeah.
really quick work.
Yeah, I'm
To even let him take a game.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
However, that is. Can I jump in real quick?
Yes, you can.
That is one thing I'm worried about, though, with, the Heat winning. The Nuggets have had 9 days off. They've had a lot of rest. And, the Nuggets, that might have been enough time for them, and they might be able to pull it off.
Now they're on their little 9-day vacation, which is going to end tomorrow, Thursday. First finals game. So hype.